the lost era of anime we'll never get back. Animes that are forgotten about, that I feel like need more love, is Inuyasha, Code Geass, and Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D is the best Yu-Gi-Oh! But with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate everybody who's been liking and commenting and subscribing. We're at 17 subscribers right now, but we're on the road to 500 subscribers. Make sure you're liking, sharing the videos. Make your grandma watch it, make your uncle watch it, make it everybody watch it. But with that being said, let's get straight into the video.
Not won't, can't.
Oh, I'm thinking we were talking about like animes that just were old. No, we're talking about these gory type of animes.
Types of anime will never be made ever again.
Comment down below your favorite anime and what you're watching currently.
The ominous ambiance, the ethereal scenery, the beautiful grotesque violence is something that Japan cannot produce in the same capacity. These shows were born in a window of time when studios had...
Isn't that guy, I don't know his name, but I'm gonna pop him up on the screen, but that guy from that one anime called Monster, isn't he like a part of like a gory anime? That's what that is?
Too much freedom, too little oversight, and just enough madness. And then one day, they disappeared. So there's just one thing I gotta know. What the hell happened to them? What killed this breed of anime? What changed so drastically?
See, you know what's so funny? People don't like animes that like look too oldish style. I love those type of animes.
That something this bold, this strange, this
like this anime style
just stopped being made. Why do they feel like relics from another dimension? First, we need to figure out what these shows even were. And by the end of this, not only will you know exactly what kind of anime I'm talking about, you'll have a list of the most must-watch shows from this generation. And you'll understand why we'll never get anything like them ever again. In 1983, a Japanese dude released a series that would spark a shift in anime so great, it shaped the next 2 decades. The series was called Dallos. It was totally unremarkable in terms of its story by modern standards, only remarkable...
This looked like, the Zodiac anime? I don't know what that anime is called.
In the way that it was released.
The dude who had like Pegasus
was never shown on TV. Instead, it was immediately sent to video stores as a VHS tape, marking it as the first ever...
I bet nobody watching this video right now has ever seen a VHS tape. Guess what? I have. Y'all are too young for that. Y'all never seen a VHS tape.
OVA. Original Video Animation. This is Angel's Egg. After Dallos shocked all of Japan in 1983, studios quickly followed.
See, like, it's like that darkish tint to it that make it just look so much like, I won't say scary, but it just give that, like, I guess depressing look to it.
So it was only 2 years later until we got this masterpiece. Set in a desolate primordial world where only a single girl wanders. All she wants is to protect this egg. She thinks it'll hatch into an angel, and maybe that'll fix the emptiness around her. But what happens when someone tries to break that egg? What happens when that egg breaks? What's so gripping from Angel's...
Where are we? That's really what I want to know first. Where is this even placed at? We're just in the middle of nowhere.
It's how a story with almost no dialogue, only 2 characters in an ocean of silence can be so distinct. The setting, the ominous music, mixed with how the movie lingers on stills, builds an encompassing eerie tension that made me stew in my own thoughts until I couldn't help but be flooded with questions.
Yeah, because I'm confused as well.
It's spectacular, one of the most evocative anime I've ever seen. Something like this is only possible because it's an OVA.
What is this, the Death Star? Is that the Death Star?
Imagine for a second you tried pitching something like this to a modern production committee, and they'd look at you like you were insane.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't want
that's the thing.
either.
OVAs weren't built for mass appeal. They weren't meant to fill airtime or rake in box office numbers, because OVAs were designed to be bought physically before anyone ever saw a single frame. No TV broadcasts, No theatrical runs, just straight to VHS.
Also,
And
it's
that
like,
gave creators a
was that supposed to be like a collector's edition type of thing where it's like, oh, like if you see
rare
type of
kind
thing.
of freedom to make something
Yeah.
stranger, slower, more specific, designed for a niche audience. With no time slots to fill, no censors to please, no runtime restrictions to worry about, it was just a director's unfiltered vision. This allowed them to create such distinct works that are missing in modern anime. Which leads me to the next OVA.
Basically, what I'm hearing is just that it gives them they don't really care about feedback. They just put out whatever they feel is good, and that's what it is. That's kind of what I'm getting. Just that these are what they wanted, full masterpiece, and that kind of is something good that they should keep incorporating into modern anime, where it's like, hey, instead of all these communities telling you guys how to run the anime or how these things should go, because especially with these animes that'll be going on modern day, they worry too much about, oh, what people are going to like or not like about this when the ratings come out and stuff like that. These type of animes, I guess, are gonna show us that, hey, this is just what people wanted to make a thing. It was just perfect to them, not anybody else.
Might have missed, and I don't say this lightly. It might be the weirdest, most visually unhinged thing I've ever seen. Meet Catsup, an experimental short film released in 2001. It follows the story of these two cats in particular, where this one
That's crazy. They say that this is made in 2001. Like, it just still looks so clean to me.
Passes away, and while her soul is leaving her body, her sibling does everything he can to stop it, resulting in her soul splitting in two, which leaves his sister as a husk of her former self. So he goes on an adventure through the land of the dead to try to bring her back to how she once was. It sounds dramatic to say, but this might genuinely be one of the weirdest, most original things I've ever watched. Experiencing a surreal, dialogue-free film centered around these
Bruh, look at this dumbass nigga still swimming, bro. He was swimming for like a good 10 seconds after he already done noticed that there was no water for real.
Experiencing a surreal, dialogue-free film centered around these two characters that's filled with existential imagery of a world collapsing in on itself is not something I could have ever expected. I mean that in the best way possible. The series is a perfect example of how wildly experimental an OVA can be. It has an awkward runtime of 35 minutes, it has no dialogue, and it has these stupid looking cats as the main characters. It's the kind of thing that would never get greenlit today. Likewise, I'd be shocked if you could find a current series as unapologetically provocative.
Whoa! Like, this is a crazy image to put up. Like, seriously, brother. No way you got caught down bad like this, and that's crazy. This man has white stuff just on his tongue.
Comedy OVA masterpiece. Now, Golden Boy is almost the OVA of OVAs to be watching from that older generation. It came out in 1995 with a dub that rivals the legendary titan of comedy anime dubs, Ghost Stories.
Think of a big black man
chasing you!
Chasing you! Well, he's not racist.
Golden Boy is a show that embodies the,
Bro, when I found out that was the actual, like, voice overs, I'm just like, bro, whoever made this should be making everything else, because, like, it's just so, like, realistic.
Get fucked up and
well,
watch
not
this
realistic.
show at
Actually, it's not realistic. It's actually not realistic, but
3 a.m. and laugh our asses
it was so Family Guy, low key.
off. Its formula is simple. New episode, new job, new girl. Kentaro starts tweaking out. And
Trish from Austin and Ally, new job every day.
Usually leads to chaos and life lessons. Nothing groundbreaking here. But here's the thing, it didn't really need to be. Back then, you would get this type of joke.
You son of a...
Now?
And it spit in his mouth? No way he let a... Bro, no. I don't even like people's bodily fluids, and then you're telling me he's, like, willingly ingesting this into his mouth? Yo, I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy work. That's absolutely insane work.
You get something along the lines of this.
But to each his own. There's people out there that like that type of stuff, but please keep that to yourself. I've seen something about this before.
That's a night and day difference, and I'm not saying one's better than the other, but they do come from completely different places. It's not just about laughs, it's about what we expect from a comedy and what we're willing to laugh at. See, in the 80s and 90s, OVAs were being sold directly to fans. You had to buy the damn thing if you wanted to watch it, which means the only people watching these shows were the hardcore fucking gooners who could only think about anime titties and spending money on that shit. So, of course, studios weren't trying to hit mass appeal. The masses
That's crazy
literally couldn't.
how they animated, how they do frame by frames. It's crazy how they did any of these types of animations back in the day, because when I seen a breakdown of how Walt Disney or the Walt Disney Studio did their animation, where they'll draw each picture by picture and put it and lay it over and lay it over, I'm like, bro, that's a crazy way to animate. And it's just like you have to have appreciation for those because of like the standard it kind of set.
Watch these things. Instead, what rose to the top were the weird.
Excuse me. But of course, like, we have modern anime where it's doing the same thing, I guess. But think about it. If they drew something wrong or printed something wrong, they have to go back and redo the whole set. It's not like the same thing. Just like with actual music artists, like back in the day, I don't know how it worked specifically, but when they were recording, they had to do one takes. It wasn't no retake it. It was just a one take go.
The provocative, the unforgettable. And that's why you get jokes like this.
My queen! Oh, you're so naughty!
That's comedy gold to them. Today, with anime on every streaming
Have y'all ever used a bidet before?
platform, creators are
I've
thinking
never
broader.
used it.
Anyone can watch anything, anytime, anywhere. So creators aim for a wide appeal. And because OVAs were targeted at very specific demographics,
I wonder, I always wondered, how do they get this, like, I know it's called, like, what, Gaussian blur? Like, how do they make it look so, like, clean and, like, older style, if that makes sense?
you don't see a lot of
Because I
tropes
see people do it nowadays.
you're used to in modern anime. No high school settings, no power of friendship speeches. Instead, you get stuff that's cut from a more unique cloth. And well, because of who these shows were made for, you get things like this. This is Bubblegum Crisis, a slick cyberpunk OVA from 1987 that oozes style. It follows an all-female squad of mercenaries fighting corrupt mega
suits are fire,
corporations,
I'm not
rogue
even gonna lie.
robots, and whatever else needs blowing up in a neo-lit Tokyo.
I
And
like
it might have
that
the
one.
sickest opening 5 minutes I've ever seen in anime.
5
It doesn't
minutes?
start with a little character introduction. It doesn't even start with a normal anime opening. It just hits you full on with a J-rock / city pop performance like a music video from a cooler timeline. It's not even an opening theme, it's just a song.
Imagine being off of any type of, like, crazy drug and being in a situation like that where, like, the
Because
lights is popping
why
off the
not?
chain like
You
this
would
and stuff.
never get anything like that today in anime. Or how about Wicked City? Now, this one's for more real degenerates. The basic setup is this. There's a barrier between the human world and the demon world, but it's getting weaker, and demons disguised as people start leaking into the human world. And let's just say, if you take the wrong girl home from a bar, you might not be waking up. You're catching every demon STD known to man and dying with zero dignity. So it follows a stoic demon hunter and a demon woman as they're tasked with protecting this man who will restore that barrier. It's sleazy, it's stylish, it's a little fucking sexual, but I gotta be honest,
feel
there's still
like-
something cool
I
about
feel
it.
like this is a cool story. Like that other one about the girl protecting the egg, that one was kind of a little bit weird, but this one seemed more, it could fly nowadays. That one, it probably will fly, but it's not gonna fly as much as this one. You get what I'm saying?
Not because of the weird sex pest energy, but because it's bold. It was made with an audience in mind that doesn't really exist anymore. An audience that wanted violence, horniness, and some of the sickest hand-drawn animation you've ever seen.
That's what I'm saying.
Every time I
It's
saw this
crazy.
scene, I was like, I love this stupid car, man. Now there's one more type of OVA that we need to talk about. I'm talking about OVAs born from early hype. When a manga was so gassed out of the gate, studios couldn't wait. They just had to cash in, even if it meant rushing out tiny half-baked adaptations way before the story was ready. Like
Wasn't that the literal same thing that they did with Full Metal Alchemist?
Gunsmith Cats. It follows Raleigh and Minnie, two girls
Like,
who
this
run a
looks-
gun shop by
Like, this looks nice. Like, I like this, like, style of animation. If I could master a style like this would be my perfect style. That mixed with like a little bit more of like Soul Eater Fire Force.
Day
That's
and
my
their bounty
perfect style.
hunters by night. But here's the thing, the OVA isn't even a straight adaptation of the manga. It's an original side story. However, it's still pretty damn good. It's cute, it's fun, it's got some absolutely fire animation, and the opening looked so damn good. But when you watch it, you can feel that it's just a glimpse of what the full story could have been if it ever got a proper adaptation. Then there's also Yokohama Shopping Log, a quiet, reflective series set after humanity's decline in a post-cataclysmic world. It just follows a robot girl, living peacefully among the remnants of a fading world. It's cozy.
So this is like what, a world after like it got flooded by like a tsunami, I guess.
It's slow. It's the anime equivalent of sitting on a porch with a cup of tea and watching the sunset. And it's so good precisely because it doesn't try to overdo it. There are tons of OVAs like these, early adaptations where studios bet big on a manga's potential.
Out of all the ones that we've seen so far, let me go back a little bit.
There are tons of OVAs.
Out of all the ones we've seen so far, which one was your favorite? I'll definitely say this one. Close second would be, nah, he was crazy. Where is it? The Cyberpunk one was very good.
Like these, early adaptations where studios bet big on a manga's potential, sometimes way too early. But that's the part of what makes them so special. Today, if a manga popped off like this, you'd expect a 13 to 25 episode full season, but back then, you might get 2 episodes in a VHS release. It would be like if someone adapted Chainsaw Man into an 8 episode OVA in 2019. Sure, this was gonna get an anime, but if you jump the gun that early, it's just too soon. That's why these early OVAs feel kinda like time capsules. They're not full adaptations. They're whispers of what could have been, snapshots of potential before the stories even fully bloomed.
I don't know if it was an OVA, but I seen this one OVA, I guess. But it was just like basically where they were killing a whole family in GTA. But they killed a whole family just, I don't know why, but that's all I seen. It was on Instagram.
If you're a fan of the original manga, these OVAs feel like little treasures. But it's not just OVAs that captured that feeling. It's not just the short, rough gems that we'll never see made this way again. There's a whole other side to this lost era of anime, and that's the films. So let me talk about a story that embodies that loss of grit, and is also my favorite anime film of all time.
I've seen a clip of this on Instagram where he was like shooting
Vampire
the rocks
Hunter
up
D Bloodlust
to, like,
follows D, a bounty hunter hired to retrieve a girl abducted by a vampire nobleman, Baron Meyer. At the same time, another group is hired for the same mission. The two parties race after Meyer, crossing deserts and wandering through swamps and breaking into invisible hideouts and clashing with shapeshifters and shadow weavers and werewolves all along the way. But the twist is, Charlotte wasn't kidnapped. She went with Meyer willingly, which throws everything into chaos. Will the bounty hunters stick with their contracts or let Charlotte live by her own choices? The straight up plot is not my real source of obsession with Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. I think it instead stems from the nuggets of an ending dedication to the minute details of the film. It's mystical creatures, it's distinct character
and again,
designs.
the fact that they drew this frame by frame and stuff like that is just so crazy to me.
It's grandiose backgrounds, it's elegant frames, it's sweeping dynamic camera shots. It's these little details that flesh out the world and breathe all of the life into the story. And to me, the one moment that really captures that magic happens right after Dee's first encounter with the Marcus brothers. After the encounter, he rides alone into an empty desert. He dismounts from his horse, kneels by the ground, and examines faint tracks in the sand. At first, it feels
What is this man, Datara? This nigga's Datara older brother or something?
quiet, still, like nothing is out there. And then you realize he's standing before a herd of sand mantas. And without hesitation, Dee leaps onto their backs, riding them across the wasteland. It's a scene that doesn't need many words. It doesn't need a fight. It's pure atmosphere, pure world building executed perfectly. And to me, that's the real beauty of Bloodlust. It's not about the flashiest fight choreo. It's not about having the most lavish.
And that's another thing about anime nowadays that I feel like gets lost in translation, that everything should be about fighting. Everything should be about how cool they look when they fight somebody. Like, bros, the whole thing about Solo Leveling isn't his storyline. It's about the fact that he fades every single episode or look cool every single episode. I get you. It looks nice. It looks clean. But I'm telling you, when you get to actually listen to some of these storylines of these animes from back in the day, you actually think of like, hey, well, there's a bigger story going on than this man just beating everything and trying to get this to get his mom back. Nah, it's like these whole civilizations are being entrapped by this specific person, and it's really set up by this person in the background who has all these wires connected to this person. And it's just more complex is what I'm getting at. That these animes back in the day just had a little bit of a better storyline. For example, Code Geass was Attack on Titan before Attack on Titan was. Prove me wrong. But Code Geass is one of the many animes where, or yeah, it was like Attack on Titan before it was Attack on Titans. Not the same exact layout, but it was kind of the similar plot points of not being controlled by destiny and not being controlled by other things that like his father being this higher power. You got to go see it, but I don't want to spoil the storyline because I know a lot of people don't even know about Code Geass, but I will say check that out for the
Detailed
storyline.
backgrounds. It's about
But before we get back into it, never mind.
the elegance of the world itself, the quiet sense that this strange dying universe existed long before you started watching it and will keep existing after you're gone. When you see shots like this, you can almost feel the world Dee lives in. And when the film shifts from scenes like this to this, you can sense the vastness of the journey. The dedication to every detail in Bloodlust is overwhelming. And given a little more context, the story of why becomes a bit more clear. Back in 1985, there was another Vampire Hunter D movie, but compared to Bloodlust, it felt rushed. So much so that the original creator constantly criticized it. That failure lit a fire under the team behind Bloodlust. And I think it shows. Every frame feels handcrafted and deliberate. And in a way that
That's supposed to
Bloodlust
be like the other
would
version.
never understand. It was kind of like a farewell letter to an era. Because the truth is, anime like this only existed because of a perfect storm. A booming economy, loose censorship, and studios willing to throw cash at bizarre, risky visions. OVAs and films alike thrived in that chaos. But when Japan's economy collapsed in the 90s, the Wild West days dried up. Budget shrank, and risk tolerance disappeared. In 1994, there were 70 different OVAs. In 2024, just 5. That era is gone. And with it, a 24, just 5.
I don't know what this is, but he has white and black hair. I know it's fire. I know it's fire because he has white and black hair.
That era is gone. And with it, a kind of anime that felt experimental, raw, and unforgettable. Sure,
Somebody need to get their dog under control. They outside barking like crazy.
sparks of that energy still show up in shows like Devilman Crybaby or
Yeah, I don't
Cyberpunk
like
Edge Runners,
Devilman.
but they're rare.
Crybaby.
And maybe that's why these shows feel so special. Not because they're perfect, but because they couldn't be made today. They were snapshots, strange, messy, and beautiful proof that anime once played by different rules. And now, they're waiting for someone curious enough to find them, dust them off, and remember what anime used to be capable of.
Alright, that was a great video, but with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and catch you in the next one.
Okay, bye.